Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sacred Sound Studios. Today, we're here to have a very special interview with an amazing guest. She's an artist who has contributed so much to this album. We're so proud to have here Mynah Marie. Is she here? She's here. Hello, Mynah.
Hi, Luaya. Hi, Vismai. So great to see you.
All right, so I've written just a few questions. I tried to make them interesting, but also kind of wide. So honestly, just respond however you feel. Yeah, and no pressure. Just enjoy. Have fun with it.
Cool.
All right, so here in our wonderful studio with our wonderful community, we have the luck and pleasure of working with so many incredible and very diverse artists. And one thing most of them have in common is being truly unique and unconventional. Like, many of them play less commonly known instruments or styles, or bring together many different elements in like radically new ways. So how would you describe your music and what makes it and you unique?
Wow, that's probably the hardest question to ask me. How would I describe my music? I think I think that in a way, through the work with the circle, I'm not really deciding. I'm not really the person shaping the music that I do. So, the only way I can say to describe it is, it really comes out of, the influence of the medicine, the energy of the circle, and it's a constant learning experience. Like, it's a constant, development, and also with the work with Vismai, in the studio and things like that. So, the ideas that he brings, so I guess that, what makes me special. I don't know if that makes me special, but I guess that my way of working with music is a lot more into being receptive and just being in that flow. It's developing that, state of mind or state of being that you're able to be in that flow, because it's not easy. Like, there's a lot of inner obstacles, and there's a lot of things going on inside that, or the mind gets in the way. So that's what I love. And I learned to play with the circle, like, that's how I feel. Like, I learned to let go and let the music guide me instead of the other way around. So yeah.
That's amazing. That's beautiful. And I think that does make you special. And I think you are very special, and your music is beautiful and inspirational.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
And so that kind of leads into the next question. The fact that we attract unconventional artists is kind of to be expected. Our location and our deep connection with the sacred and the spirit make us an unconventional studio and an unconventional community. How do you connect with the sacred and spiritual beliefs that are such core parts of this album and this foundation as a whole? Which is kind of related to what you already said.
Yeah, it's kind of building up on that. I mean, the best way to describe it is like, sometimes when I go to a circle or I go to a ceremony, and people expect me to play, and people tell me like, "Oh, are you going to play tonight?" And I'm always saying, I'm not the one who decides, because it's true. It's like and if there's one thing that I've learned, it's to be in that state. It's this humility, this humbleness, that there's something greater than you, and that the connection to music, the connection to the spirit, is about, letting go and being beyond yourself and beyond everyone, and being connected to that greater, that greater space, right? So for me, that's the way that I experience it. And the music is a reminder, like, experiencing it through the music is a reminder for life, because you carry that energy in life. and you try, to apply. And then when you have a hard time in your life, then you come back to the music, and then it helps you, So that's why also these songs are so precious. Like whether we sing them in ceremony or we sing them in circle, or if I sing them alone, because they're teachings, they're reminders for daily life, to find that space.
That's yeah, for sure. That's thank you. Um, so we know that you've contributed so much to this album, not just with playing the accordion, but also helping to arrange some songs and writing the score for others. So what's been your inspiration? What's been your motivation to do all this?
Well, working with Vismai is like, I think we've always had that musical connection where, like, I think we understand each other. There's just something about it that we really understand each other. And at the same time, he has this amazing ability to um, let someone fly. Like, I feel like I have this space. It's not intrusive in my process. I don't feel that I need to fit something, or that I need to play something specific. There's this dialogue between musicians where we just enjoy each other's space, I think. I mean, at least I like to believe so. I hope he thinks the same.
He can't saying, but I'm sure he would be agreeing if he could. That's
So yeah, so that's really inspiring. That for me is like, that's the best kind of musical collaboration. So that's why it's been going on for so many years, I guess, because it's really magical. Yeah.
I'm so happy to hear that. That's a great thing to have as an artist.
Yeah, yeah, and it's rare. It's rare. It doesn't happen with that many people. That level of understanding and communication and freedom, to let each other be.
So when did you meet Vismai in this whole circle? How long have you been with us?
I met Vismai, I think now it must be what. Actually, I think you were 5, I think, at the time. So how old are you now? So let's just
11 years ago.
yeah, something like that. 11, 12 years ago.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's amazing. And we met in Israel. It was the beginning of my time in Israel. I think it was like the first month or something that I was living here. And it was through another common friend. It was through Eran, who plays
Yeah,
ney, who plays flute.
actually on this album as well.
Oh, really? So that I didn't know.
Oh,
So that's awesome. Yeah, awesome. Well, also a longtime friend. And yeah, we met in the ashram in the festival. I remember Eran invited me to join to play. And so I joined, and there was, who was there? There was Chandra, I think there was Bella, like the old timers. And that was it. And then Visma talked to me afterwards, and he was like, if you want to come and play. And yeah, that's
you.
it. Yeah, and it was that. And then after that, I don't think I really drank with anyone else.
Wow.
Yeah.
Been a long journey.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure everyone who's heard your talent in the album would love to know more about you as a person and what your journey has been like to acquire such gifts. Please tell us more about yourself.
Wow. Okay. So, well, I started music really young. I started music, I was 3. My father had a dream that I was going to become this great violinist, and he actually had the best violin maker in Portugal, because my family is Portuguese. He had the best violin maker in Portugal make a violin before I was born. So, my destiny was traced. I was going to be a violinist. So I started playing when I was 3. and I hated violin. With all respect to all the violin players out there, it just didn't fit me. Like physically, I didn't like I didn't like that I needed to stand, and I didn't like that my arm had to be like this. And I remember being like 3 or 4, and my dad would put me in the room and he would close the door and he would tell me like, you don't come out until you finish practicing. And I would be like, no, I don't want to. And so I started like that. And then after a few years of violin, every time that I would go for a class, I would sit down at the piano and I would start to play. And at some point, my teacher talked to my parents and said, well, she seems to really be into piano. Like, she's not into violin at all, but she's really talented musically. But, she likes piano. And I loved it. I liked that I could sit, I could sit and relax, and I could just, play around with the keys. So it started like that for me, all the way up to university, where I burned out in university. There was too much competition for me. It was just not the kind of environment for me to really thrive. And I kind of lost my way. Like, I kind of lost a little bit, like, why am I doing this and things like this. And I really wanted to travel. I really felt like I wanted to travel. So I dropped out of university, didn't finish. And I left hitchhiking. And I was looking for an instrument to bring with me. And so, I couldn't bring a piano. So I was like, what am I going to bring? I didn't want to bring a guitar because I felt everyone brings guitars. I was like, I don't want to just bring a guitar. And a friend of mine told me, like, maybe why not accordion? And I thought I thought it was a really weird idea. I was like, okay, that's a weird instrument, but whatever. And so I went into a shop and I tried one. It was like a smaller one, but, decent size one. And I figured, like, okay, like, it looks like a piano, so I can kind of have fun with it. Like, I kind of understand it instinctively. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go with that. And I was 21 at the time. And so I bought my accordion, and then I left hitchhiking, and I basically learned to play accordion like that, playing in the streets. For months I was hitchhiking across Canada. I met a guy that was doing like circus stuff. So we were playing in the streets, and he was like juggling and doing circus, and I was playing music, and we were making like a little bit of money like that,
I didn't.
Yeah. You didn't know that, right? So I learned like that. And then it became a thing, like, throughout the years, I went from playing in the streets to having like my own little band, to being hired by people, to like, playing in studios, to playing with really big stars. At some point, I got all the way up there. And yeah, now I'm here. And then a couple of years ago, the last part of my journey, I was in India. I was playing with the biggest Bollywood star ever. We were touring in UK. I played in Wembley Stadium in front of 30,000 people.
I didn't know that either. That's crazy.
Yeah, biggest show ever. And I'm there on the stage, and it was a terrible tour. The artist was really, really terrible with us. And I just ended the show crying. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Wow.
And I was like, this is pointless. Like, I'm just playing music for someone else all the time, and someone else is getting, the attention, and someone else has the power to treat us like whatever. So that was my last tour as a formal accordion player. I said, I'm stopping. And after that, I went through kind of a burnout. I was worked out. So I took some rest. And that's where I discovered computer programming. And I fell in love with computers, completely, madly in love with technology and computers. And through the grapevine, this is what happened. I went into technology. I discovered myself as an artist. I thought, if I'm going to continue to keep playing music, I want it to be my music. I want it to be my thing to express. And I started to use technology as a medium for me to really like create that whole environment of music without being dependent of people all the time. Because when you move around, it's really hard to have a band and to do this and to do that. So that's where I am right now.
That's amazing. That's an amazing journey. And half of this stuff I didn't know. I'm sure a lot of other people didn't know, but your life sounds like a book or a movie. That's amazing.
Yeah, I've been told that. I've been told that quite a few times. Maybe one day I'll write a book.
But I would read it. I will read it.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Got it. Amazing. Oh, that was fun.
Hey,
Really
Hey.
nice.
beautiful to hear. I was with the headphones
This whole time?
most of the time, and I hear you. And I would like to first of all really say thank you. And is we go back so long, and the connection since the beginning is really deep in that musical essence, and so many
Yeah.
ceremonies and so many pictures from ceremonies. Actually, in few countries,
In a few countries. Yeah, that's amazing, right? Wow.
quite a few, many few dimensions. And,
Yeah.
and of course, like the moment we started the music together, that time with you and Iran was an amazing trio, and it's really beautiful. It's kind of uniting for this album. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, I can't wait to hear it. Like I want to hear it. I'm so happy that you guys connected again.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah. He's living not far from here,
amazing.
and yeah, you had a part. You're the part in a few of our greatest hits, from Terra do Alem to Ancient Mothers, of course, and
Yeah.
Esperanza, and quite a
Yeah.
few more. And in this album, like you have the like the I think the both great hits, the Omane Padme Om with this really amazing accordion line, and even more the Shiva stop where you basically arrange the whole thing. And I'm right now in the studio and kind of walking with the notes that you arranged, and
Oh, I can't wait.
it's really an amazing journey because I'm really writing articulations and changes and all that, and that brings me to one question I wanna ask you, because listening to these songs is really, there is, you know and me as a producer listening to your parts, there's always this perfection that is come from what I feel is really something, the sounds that really have, each one have the intention and that touches your heart. And in the same time, there is, like, especially now when I'm working on this Shiva stop, there's always kind of a constant build up and expansion. So it's kind of two different perspectives. So what I want in context to that, to ask you is, like, what do you feel? What do you feel when you are there? When you're there in the studio with the headphones, when you're putting these parts down? Where are you? What do you feel?
So, that's also something that I don't talk about it so much. But actually, a lot of the things that I do, surprisingly, come from the limitations that I have. So I've never been someone who has great technique. I'm not someone that can do 10,000 notes a second. I'm not that type of player. And because of that, instead of there came a moment in my process where, instead of feeling limited by that, I kind of realized, well, I need to do the most out of what I do have. So I've kind of worked very hard to make my flaws a strength.
Mm.
So a lot of the times when someone presents me, or when I'm in the studio and I'm listening to a track and I'm wondering what to record, for me it's about doing the right thing. It's about listening to the music. It's not about doing a lot. It's about doing what's needed. you know, and there's always that question, kind of, first I let go. It's kind of like, you know, kind of a writer that needs to like first get the first draft, and then kind of, you know, so there has to be this moment where, you know, the first takes, like you just kind of let go and you just play, you know, and just see like what comes out, you just play. But then it's all the time kind of this thought, like, and this feeling to be anchored into, like, what does the music need, you know? And this comes from knowing that my ability is kind of limited in a way. You know, I can't really do more than that. So it's about choosing properly what I do, you know, and that's really kind of the essence of my work for everything in the music. It's transforming my weaknesses into a strength. At least that's how I see it. I hope that it is, but you know, that's how I see it. And yeah, and humbleness, comes back to that, you know, to always forget myself. If I'm in my head, and if I'm like trying to prove something, or if I'm trying to, like, you know, prove to someone that I can do it, or if I'm trying to la la la, no, it doesn't work. It's about humility, listening to the music, even to the point where, you know, sometimes someone presents to me a song and I listen to it. If I don't hear anything, I will not be able to play. I need to hear something. It needs to inspire something that I can kind of hear in my head. So even the humbleness sometimes is to the point of listening to a song and be like, I don't think I'm the right person for this. I don't think that I'm the right musician for that track. It happens, you know? So yeah, that's the state of mind.
Beautiful, beautiful answer. Thank you. Yeah, can really feel that humbleness, that also towards the music, also towards yourself, is really beautiful. And I must say that personally, I heard you doing 1,000 notes in one. Being able to do it, because what you perceive as weaknesses is really, like, you know, it's in a very, very, very high level. That level, keeping the humbleness, I think that is the real answer, to really keep the humbleness in any level that you are. Keep on leveling. Well, beautiful, beautiful tip. Thank you.
Wow, I'm so happy to talk to you guys. I miss you guys so much, really, really.
I miss you too. You need to come visit.
I'll be back. Let's just let this whole freaking Corona story get out of the way, and then.
Yeah, well, reunite the band in live.
Yeah.
Yes.
And seriously, you did so well. Those were amazing answers. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this with us.
Amazing.
I'm super happy.